I think one of our greatest fears when we grow old is we're not afraid of dying, we're afraid of being forgotten. And he took that last bit of energy, turned around and came into my arms. And he took his last breath on my chest. I remember I had just finished classes and I was winding down for the day, and I get a call from my dad, and it was a really odd time for him to call. So I'm like, what? So I picked up the phone and he's like, your grandmother is in the hospital and my mom is crying and stuff, and they're like, just get there. By the time I reached, I had a little bit of an understanding of what happened. She was without oxygen for more than 40 minutes. By the time the paramedics got her pulse back, you know, she's already brain dead. It's just that she's physically alive, but she's not there anymore. They asked us, you know, what we want to do, and my grandfather decided. They had made a promise to each other that if it ended up in that state, they're not going to drag it along. So he pulled the plug. The entire time, those entire 8 hours, except for bathroom breaks, my grandfather's just holding her hand, you know, and kissing it, and just by her. And he like goes to her ear and he's just like, Nargis, I love you and I will always love you. And those were his last words to her. He had never lived without her. 60 years, you know, all he knew was her. And it's the first time that he comes back to this house without her, and things are just left as is. And it was very difficult for him. And when I would talk to him on the phone, he was like, you know, this is life. And now it's okay, I'm done now, you know. And I'd talk to him and be like, Papa, please, like, we're not ready. There's no way. I was like, how am I supposed to live without you? I'm too young, you know, I made it about me. And then he would be like, okay, fine, and stuff. But he wasn't okay. He'd given up. I mean, he was I'd never seen him like that. I had just graduated college, and I was like, oh, let me go spend some time with Papa, because I knew once I start working, it'll be hard for me. And I know he had been down, and just something in me was like, I need to spend some time with him before I start my life. We went out on dates every week, and we would like coordinate outfits, and like he would dress up for me and I would dress up for him. Just spending time together, you know, for 2 months we did that. We did everything he wanted to do. And towards the end of my trip, I remember he was like, okay, beta, you know, now it was a lovely time together. Thank you so much. But I think this is it, you know, I don't think we'll see each other again. So in case that's the case, I love you and stuff. And it was hard to hear that. I mean, I knew, I guess, you know, it's always harder to hear things that we already know. And I remember I was like in that bathroom inside there, and I'm talking to my dad, and I'm like, Dad, I don't think I can come back, you know? I'm like, I don't know what I'm saying or what I'm saying, but I think I need to be here. I think one of our greatest fears when we grow old is we're not afraid of dying, we're afraid of being forgotten. And then me doing this really dramatic, impulsive sort of move gave him confidence that, hey, I matter. And we had so much fun. We used to do the craziest thing, even in the hospital, you know, like we're always up to mischief. I was like sneaking in treats for him, and anytime something were to happen, the first thing that would come out of his mouth was, where's Shania? I guess it's love, you know, and knowing that, like, if you don't do it, this guy's life depends on you. You know, this guy's well-being depends on what you do and how you act, and that will really grow you up, you know. I was eating, breathing, sleeping Papa. We knew at around 5. He was tossing and turning that night only, and he actually requested that I sleep next to him, which he never used to do. So I knew that something was up. By 8 o'clock, we both confirmed. He literally looked at me. My aunt was supposed to arrive the next day, and he looked at me, he's like, I don't think I'm gonna make it. And inside I was freaking out, but the thing that came out of my mouth was, so, like, just chill, relax, breathe, you know, it's okay. And I told him, I was like, you're about to meet her, you know. And that helped a lot, you know. When I told him, I said, "You're going home now. You know, you're going to be with her." I knew I couldn't smother him. You know, they tell you not to be too close or whatever, because it's harder for them to let go, right? If we're holding on, then it becomes more of a struggle to him. So I was sitting by him, but not, you know, touching him too much, or, you know, behaving like how I really wanted to behave. I wasn't doing it. I was just sitting by him, just being there for him and coaching him through it and talking to him and being like, it's okay, and, you know, you're going home, and praying with him, you know, that same prayer. I mean, I've said it throughout his hospital trips, and then in the end I'm saying the same prayer. I'm holding his hand, and I thought that's how he was gonna go, you know. But after, you know, kissing my grandmother's photo and everything was said and done, he took his last bit of energy to be like, come here, right? Like next to him on the pillow. So I sat there. I still wasn't like, you know, being in his face. And he took that last bit of energy, turned around and came into my arms. And he was right here, like, you know, on my chest. And he took his last breath on my chest. Until that moment, he was speaking and, you know, communicating. And it wasn't my mind or me checking that told me that he took his last breath. It was my own body. It was my chest that knew that he is now lifeless. And I actually know what it feels like to be on the edge of life and death, you know, and what it feels like when life leaves the body. And that was his last gift to me. You know, he decided that I was so special that he's going to take his last breath on my chest. And sorry. Any day could have been the end. For the whole 2 years, any day could have been the end. Every day for us was a blessing, which is probably why we lived it to the fullest. I will never regret spending 2 years of my life with Papa. I will never regret not making the money. I will never regret any of it. And in fact, I would do it 10 times over. He taught me the best version of myself. And it's so ironic, right? Like how life comes full circle. I know that a lot of us, or all of us, look our whole lives searching for that unconditional love. And I got it.
3 coins in a fountain. Each one seeking happiness. There they lie in the fountain, somewhere in the heart of Rome.